Hi, Nikki Wyatt, Karma Coach here, the second of three videos about my Transformation Essence range. And I'll be taking you through the key messages of each essence and which is the best one to take depending on your particular situation at the moment. The first one I'm working with today is finding perspective from intensity to balance. So this essence is a really good one if you are feeling really overwhelmed. If you're lots of emotions been stirred up for you, you can't see the wood for the trees. It's hard to understand what would be the best thing to do. There's some confusion. You're when you're in this state, you're not in touch with your guidance inside because there's such a turbulence of emotion going on. Or you might have decided that there is only one possible solution to your problems, and you're fixated on that, and you're striving, and you just keep on pushing and pushing at it because you haven't got the detachment to be able to stand back and go, maybe there's another way. So what this essence will do is to help you to relax, to stand back, to calm down, to ground your feelings, and to be able to see things from a more objective perspective so that new solutions can come up. Then you might be able to see a different direction you could go in, different steps to take. You might be more open also to different solutions being suggested to you, and the universe might have been busy trying to tell you, but you might not have been open to it because you were so kind of caught up in your feelings. The next essence is flexibility and tolerance. Open your mind. This is a great essence if you are aware of having rigidity in your personality. There might be ideas that you find really difficult to shift. They might have been passed down. This is often a very transgenerational essence in the sense that a lot of our very fixed and rigid parts of our personality are there because they have come down through so many generations. And our family is never X. Maybe it's we're not people who are financially successful, or we're not people who travel much, or we are people who perhaps we're people who are very modest people. We don't put ourselves forward. We don't put our heads above the parapet. There are all sorts of fixed ideas we can be born into almost. And there may be ideas that you have also got very fixed in your personality just because of things that have happened to you, where you've said to yourself, I'm never going to do that again, or, this is what I need to do in order to be healthy or wealthy or wise or whatever it may be. And that is the thing that you always do. Um, but we are intended to keep growing and learning through life. And it can be quite difficult if the universe is trying to get you to embrace a new reality and you are, wearing the equivalent of a suit of armor because you've got such strong ideas about how life must be and how you must be. Um, so this is a good one for a good essence for people who are feeling the need to open up more, become more flexible. And you might notice you need this because you have actually reflected your rigidity in your personality in your body. So you might have stiffness, you might have joints that don't not very flexible. So if that is the case, then this is a great one to reach for, and you'll find that life starts to open up and you start to have new ideas, new thoughts about what you might think about life and people, and perhaps a new vision. The next one is forgive, love, and accept yourself. This essence is really important because it underpins pretty much any change you want to make in your life. If you haven't forgiven and accepted yourself, and you don't love yourself, then you're going to have a really difficult time trying to grow because there's just such a tape, a recording going on in your head about I'm not good enough. I'm just not good enough. I'm not fit enough. I'm not confident enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not good looking enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not caring enough or patient enough or whatever it is that we just don't think we're enough about. Or, I did that thing when I was younger and therefore I don't deserve, happiness or partner or whatever it might be, good health, um, because we are subconsciously punishing ourselves. So this is a really good one for helping you to grow, actually. It's really hard otherwise, if you can't allow yourself to be deserving of what life has to offer you. And when you take this essence, it will help you to understand you are deserving. Everybody's deserving. We are all expressions of the divine. We are all expressions of unconditional love. Deep down, that is our core. And anything else is simply stuff we have to work through. The next one is free your true self. So this is a good one to take if you know that you are quite influenced by social norms. If it's hard for you to step outside of what might be considered normal in your culture, in your faith, in your environment, even. Some of us are very affected by the traditions, and we do things that because that's how it's always been done, or because that's what your parents would approve of or your family would approve of, and it makes your life much smaller than it should be, really. Your life should be an expression of your full potential, your full authenticity, and when you're not expressing your uniqueness in life, we all miss out because, we're all a note played in the universal music. And if we don't have your note, we're not complete. So, this essence will help you to feel more courageous, more confident, more able to be different, not so worried about what other people think. It'll help you to see your true identity, to get in touch with your authenticity and your genuine, what brings you genuine joy rather than what, other people think should do, you should be doing. So the next one is graceful release, let go with love. This can be a one that's most of us find letting go of things quite tricky. And it is definitely a skill that we need to develop if we're going to move along a path of self-development. Whether that it's things or situations or people, relationships, we all have to let go of things as we go. Otherwise, we just end up so overwhelmed. We're carrying far too much. There's too much clutter around us. It might be physical clutter, it might be relationship clutter, but whatever it is, it's not. It makes us confused. It makes it hard to see what we need, what we don't need, and how we're going to go forward. It's like trying to move house when your loft is completely stuffed with stuff, and you think, well, how am I ever going to move? Because I'm just never going to have enough years in my life to clear all that rubbish out. And that's why letting go is really important. That's can be a metaphor for your life. If you're carrying such a lot of unresolved emotion, it's going to be very difficult for you to allow in new feelings. So graceful release is about finding the gift in what you want to get rid of, which might sound a bit strange, but what I'm trying to say is that very often, when we want to let go of something, or we know we need to, but part of us is resisting it. What we often do is focus on the negative of it. So let's say we're trying to, I don't know, we know we need a new car, but we're actually secretly rather attached to the one we have. So we every time we look at our car, we think, oh, I really need to change that. And gosh, look at the state of it, look at the rust on that, and look at the windscreen wipers aren't working properly. And we focus on all the things that aren't working. Or maybe, it's a friendship, and we start to focus on all the annoying habits of our friend. Because actually part of us knows we've actually outgrown that relationship. But the trouble is, the more we resist these things, the more they persist in our life. Because if we really focus negative energy, it's strong, it's a strong energy, and it keeps that person or that thing in our life. So the essence that is in graceful release, the essence is there, will help you to see the good in, and the lessons and the merit in whatever it is you need to let go of. And that will then actually free up that thing or that person or that relationship to leave. because you will be grateful for it. You will have appreciated it. Nobody's going to, I don't know, buy a business or buy a car that's got loads of negative energy around it. If you're overwhelmed and you hate your business, that you're fed up with it, it's time to move on. No, buyers aren't gonna feel that, in the same way if you want to move from your house. If you sit there telling yourself how much you hate it, it's going to be very difficult for people to come in and think, oh, I love this space. So the essence is going to help you to see what is lovely and what was lovely and what you got from whatever it was, and then that is going to free it up to move out of your life. Right, the next one is healing heartbreak, return to love. So our heart is the great balancing chakra of the body. It's where all our emotions, it's like a cauldron where all our emotions come in. And as children, we tend to be able to find it, well, when we first arrive, we find it relatively easy to reach out for comfort, for reassurance, for nurture. And it's only as we begin to go through our life, we realize actually that's not always available to us. Sometimes we get rejected. Sometimes our parents are too busy. Sometimes we get a really very negative reaction from people. And it's very shocking. And we feel very hurt. Even if we might even be too young to be able to verbalize it, it's still extremely hurtful. And we can feel very abandoned. So this continues through life, and our heart can become a real battleground. We can be it can become covered in emotional scars from things that we've experienced that were really difficult, and the less we've been able to process them, the more of a battleground it will be, and the more full it will be of wounds. So this essence will help you to soften and to heal those wounds, to bring in the power of unconditional love to help you to return to that softer, more unconditional way of loving that you had as a child, to be able to expect love back that's not conditional, to be able to be more spontaneous and and deserving and able to express your love and to accept love from others. The next essence is healthy choices, release unhelpful habits. So this energy is it's all about being compromised in by society, really. I mean, our unhelpful habits tend to be ways of soothing and self-medicating when we're upset, when we don't know how to deal with something, when things have gone out of balance in our life, then we will often, do things that are really unhelpful for and we know they are, but we do them anyway. We reach for a sugary snack, or we start getting a dopamine hit from scrolling on our phones, or buying stuff on the internet, or reaching for a drink. We might there are lots of things that we do that aren't very helpful, that are ways of counteracting all the stuff that's in our society now that is really unhelpful and unhealthy. Um, and one obvious thing is when we get up in the morning, we might feel we need caffeine to bring us awake. We might then, use sugar through the day to keep us going. We might have alcohol in the evening to relax. None of these are natural ways of living, or particularly helpful to us. In fact, done to excess, they are very unhealthy. So the essence for this that's called healthy choices is it's actually got wild coffee essence in it, because that will help you to both release the caffeine cravings but also bring you the alertness that you want to get from caffeine. It's got apple in it, which helps you to stick to healthier regimes. So if you decide, this is it, I'm stopping sugar or whatever, apple essence will be very helpful. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. So yes, apple flower, very good for you. Oriental poppy will really help you with breaking through illusions and dependency on anything in your life. There's a reason poppy is the basis for opium. So it is about illusion and, numbing out and not being here and becoming dependent on substances. So that will help you with that. And morning glory is a really good one, which helps you, as it might suggest, get up and actually want to be part of the day, be keen to start your day and feel motivated. And it also really helps to release ancestral patterning around unconscious unhealthy habits, because addictions are something, for example, that we pass down and down and down, because they're nearly always connected to trauma and not being able to resolve trauma. So this will really help with that. The next one is healthy rhythms, release overdoing. So healthy rhythms will help you to adjust your day so that you're more in tune with the day cycles, with getting up at a sensible time and going to bed at a sensible time, and not, I don't know, falling asleep on the sofa in front of a box set or whatever. A lot of us also just stay busy because it's a very popular way of not dealing with our emotions. We can't feel if we're rushing around constantly, and that way we can suppress our emotions and focus on action all the time. So we tend to often get very stressed by doing such a lot, and we don't know how to be still, and we're a bit frightened of being still because what's going to come up, what thoughts we might think, what emotions we might become aware of. And this and also it's often about using our will too much, pushing. So this essence, healthy rhythms will calm anxiety. It will help you to ground. It'll help you to become more in tune with the cycles of nature. So you start to go to bed at a sensible time, and you want to get up when you wake up in the morning. It'll help you to feel more at ease with being still, and relaxed, which can be a very unusual feeling for some people. The next one is inner balance, masculine and feminine harmony. And this is about balancing the masculine and feminine energies within us. It doesn't matter what biological gender you are. This is simply about the energies that all of us carry. The yin energy, which is very nurturing, very yielding, very soft, very creative, open to receive, and often not very appreciated in a lot of social situations. And often an energy that we can suppress because it isn't necessarily rewarded, especially in our education system, for example. Then there's the yang side of us, which is dynamic, it's focused, it's often the energy that comes in to help us to plan, to ground projects, to take practical action. And often that is more rewarded, I would say, in our society, certainly here in the West, than the yin energy. But we need both of them, and they both need to get on with each other, and they both need to co-create. And often, unfortunately, a lot of us saw this yin and yang energy in conflict when we were young, or disrespected or dishonored in some way, perhaps. We nurture maybe might not have been very seen very positively in your family, or productivity might have been seen as more important. Or taking action. If we're in a negative state with, for example, yin energy, we might become seductive or manipulative, and we might feel very disempowered. If we're in an unhealthy yang state, we might be bullying, we might be aggressive, we might feel very frightened. There are lots of dark, shadowy bits to both of these energies, and they create a lot of conflict between them. So the essence for this is aimed at releasing conflict and allowing for a partnership between these two parts of ourselves, for allowing also partnership between the sexual side of our being and the spiritual side of our being, which are often also, our yin and yang have important roles to play in that. Um, uh, and also about how to integrate our physical and our spiritual life. Because again, yin and yang come very much into play with both those sides of our life. Um, and this essence will bring peace and clearer guidance. So, the final essence in this particular video is Kundalini rising, awaken your power and passion. Now, Kundalini is often symbolically shown to be a snake coiled at the base of your spine. And as it moves up your spine, which is where all your chakras go through, it will in turn hit each chakra point and begin to clear and balance that. Now, it's really important that Kundalini rises in a way that is very paced, because if it rises too quickly, it can be really overwhelming to have all those things start to clear at once. You don't know whether you're up or down. And in the same way that a snake will shed its skin through its life several times, we also need to shed our skin and become different versions of ourselves as we go through our life. So Kundalini is important, and it's also important to use it well. It's fire energy, so it can be destructive in its negative form. It can be overpowering and overwhelming. But if it's well controlled, it can be cleansing, it can be empowering, it can allow for rapid action, rapid shifts in your life. And a thing to remember about fire energy is it's controlled by air. If you think about a fire, you get it to come up more by using bellows and putting more air into it, and you damp down a fire by reducing the amount of air that is getting to the fire. So the way we control our fire energy is through our breath. So the amount of air you're bringing in and out, and when and how, and making sure you're not shallow breathing or over breathing. Or holding your breath. So this essence will help you to know to pace that, to know when to move, when to be still. It will also awaken ancient wisdom, because Kundalini energy, that's what it holds for you. As it awakens, it will bring up dormant passion. It'll bring you into contact with the opportunity for much greater ecstasy in your life, and therefore a much higher expression of yourself, and your ability to radiate light into the world. So that's me. That's the essence video 2, and I hope to see you in video 3. Thanks for listening and watching.